doesn't work. Oh, hold on, guys. Hold on. We got to get the webcam up. You got to see this beautiful freaking face this morning, team. What's up? What's going on? And good morning, traders. Happy Money Tuesday. It is May 3rd, 2022, 9 a.m. in the market. And give me 1 second, guys. I want to get my beautiful face on the stream. So if you can bear with me, what we're going to do, guys, we're going to take a step back. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to click webcam, right? I'm going to click properties. I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to try and activate my webcam because I want you seeing this beautiful, succulent face. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, what's up and what's going on? Good morning, traders, and happy Money Tuesday. Every day is Money Day. So we got Money Wednesday, Money Thursday, and Money Friday. Today it is Money Tuesday, May 3rd, 2022. 9:01 in the market, and I am excited to be here. I am fired up, and I am ready to hit it hard to lock in some consistent profits with the best trading community in the world. And you guys know why it's the best? It's because I'm here. No, I'm kidding. It's because you guys are here. You, each and every one of you, make this the best trading community in the world. I love you all, and I'm excited to be here again to work with you to lock in some profits and to have some fun, guys, and to learn together what we do every single day inside of chat. Welcome to the team, Derek Guy. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have not welcomed Derek to the team, take a moment, say welcome, Derek, to the team. Dude, we are excited to work with you. We are excited to help you through this process of learning how to trade stocks, and our goal is to get you inside of Profits Chat consistently, so let's make it happen. Kids King, Movie Star, Mr. Nick, Addy, Steve. We got so many freaking Steves inside of chat. All the Steves. Good morning. Movie Star, AZJ Dub, George, what's up, buddy? Good morning, Leon, One Tall Cool One. Good morning. Woo! My goodness, I am so freaking fired up today. And I only had 1 Celsius. That's it. But I am freaking on fire. Let's do it, team. Let's make it happen. But hold on. Wait a minute. Hold up. Wait a minute. What's up, Mr. Steve over on YouTube? Jack, John, Ed, Nevis, the man, the myth, and the legend. Stock Talk Trades. What's up, buddy? Luxury Trims and Danny. Good morning, YouTubers. How we all doing today? Happy Tuesday once again. We are going to talk about the top stocks of the day. What stocks are we watching? Why are we watching them? Getting you guys prepared with those technicals. Let's have fun. Let's learn together. Let's trade together, and let's lock in some profits together. Let me go ahead and drop the stream on TikTok. Give me 1 second, guys. You guys can join us on YouTube. AlphaDayTrading over on the YouTube. Links in the bio. Take care. Happy, safe trading. I'll see you guys later. All right, we're good. Let me take this little microphone off real quick. Throw it down. Get fired up here, and let's make it happen. We're going to dive right into it, guys. We're not going to waste any time. We're just going to hit it hard. Talk stocks, get you guys prepared. What are we looking at, and why are we looking at these particular stocks today? Well, number 1, ladies and gentlemen, is SNOA. So they get EPA approval for NanoSyn, a hospital-grade disinfectant. So they get EPA approval for their hospital-grade disinfectant in the United States. SNOA is a 3 million in float stock. Number 1 on the leaderboard, currently at 53%, trading really good volume. 11 million shares on average, 100,000. Right now, SNOA needs to be the top stock that we watch, ladies and gentlemen. Where do we have room to today on SNOA? Look at those daily charts. Where do we have room to today? What is going to be that main level of resistance that traders are looking at to take profits on SNOA? What do you guys see on that daily chart? What level, what price do you think is going to be that main level of resistance that traders are looking to lock in profits at? The 200-day moving average. Absolutely. The 200-day moving average is one of the strongest levels of support and resistance from a moving average standpoint. So absolutely, $4.73 is that 200 SMA, and that is going to be that main target that traders are looking to get to today to lock in those profits. Right now, we have some support down at 375. We are going to have some little bit of resistance right between this 414 and this 424 level. All right, you can see that we gapped down from around 424 and we gapped down to like 380. We left this little gap, but we had a spiking high that day up towards around 411. So if we mark up that 411 here, does it line up with another point on the chart? It does. Here from March, it was also pretty close to that spiking high. So there is going to be some resistance right around that 411, and then we need to look at some of these lower shadows and some of these lows. Right around that 424 is going to be a very strong level of resistance as well. So 374 light support right now at this point in time. 411, 424, and 440 resistance. So there is a good amount of resistance between this 411, 424, and then that 440 pre-market spiking high. And then that 473 mark being that 200-day moving average. Now, if we do see this stock really take on off and there's a lot of hype and a lot of volume and we just rip through that 200 SMA, I would say we would have some room to $5, and $5 being the second strongest level of resistance for penny stocks. So we know exactly what we have right now. We know 374 support. We're trying to hold above 4 at this point in time, but if we fall back below 4, that's resistance. 411, 424, and 440 resistance. Over that 440, we have potential to that 200-day moving average at 473, and then over that 200-day moving average up towards around $5 on SNOA. And believe it or not, like, that's really the only stock that I've seen that I think we should put a lot of focus on. Fresh stock, fresh news, that is the one stock that looks the best. A lot of these other stocks that we're going to talk about are prior day movers. Okay, so these are stocks that moved yesterday, last week, the week before. They have momentum. Again, these are going to be some prior day movers, some daily technical formations that have great potential for the day. If we start looking at some of these other top gaining stocks like FTRP, not a whole lot going on right now at this point in time with FTRP. And their press release wasn't all that amazing, right? So their press release was they announced on April 28th that it will be issuing shares in Field Trip Discovery Unit to be renamed Reunion Neuroscience. Okay, so that press release isn't really all that amazing. That press release doesn't really stand out to me and scream, I want to trade this stock. Now, the stock is up 27%. The stock is trading really good volume. It's a nice low float stock, but I don't really get all that hyped up with this press release. So with that being said, I'm not too crazy about it. So I'm personally going to be watching FTRP as a back burner. Okay, guys, as a little bit of a back burner. I think there's much better opportunity out there in the market today besides just focusing here on FTRP. You have resistance up towards around 174. You'd have some resistance right around 147. And right now, your support level right around, we bring that up just a little bit into that doji, those candles, right around 117 is going to be a decent little level of support. Nothing too crazy, but it's decent. 147 to 150 resistance with potential to 174. I mean, it has the volume. It's a nice low float stock, but that press release really doesn't hype me up whatsoever. And you can clearly see that traders aren't really too excited or hyped up with FTRP either. All right, so let's just add it as a back burner at this point in time. SESN is a stock that must have just dropped a press release. So what do we got going on here with SESN? They're reviewing strategic alternatives. Does that press release really get you hyped up? They are reviewing strategic alternatives. Not really hyped up. There's good volume, 4.7 million shares. On average, we trade less than 2, so we are trading 2x. But the float's pretty large. You know, it's 198 million in float, currently up 23%, and they are reviewing strategic alternatives. All right, wow, I'm so hyped up. Not really. We have resistance at 55 cents, right underneath these daily lows. That is our spiking high. here in pre-market. So that is a very strong level of resistance there, guys. You have room to the 50 SMA, right around 58 cents. And if it does start breaking out and it does start taking on off, you would have some potential to 65 cents here on SESN, with some light support being right around 47 cents or that 20 EMA here on SESN. Another stock that I think should be on the back burner, I still think there's better opportunities today with some of these prior day movers. Another top gaining stock is HCDI this morning, guys. HCDI, Custom Development unveils plans to capitalize on hot multifamily market. So HCDI is getting a little bit of action, and this is also a prior day mover. So this stock has had some great action over the past 3 days, going from around 250, hitting highs yesterday of 340, now hitting these pre-market highs of 414. So HCDI, not the best press release, but it's a prior day mover with HCDI, and it has a lot of momentum clearly as we look at this daily chart. So right now, I would say support is going to be back down off yesterday's spiking high, and we actually came down to the penny here in pre-market and had a nice little bounce on up into a new pre-market high. So HCDI is definitely a top stock to be watching for today. There is a new press release. We do have some fresh volume. It's a nice low float stock, and it's also a prior day mover here with HCDI, and there is some momentum. So we could see it up towards around those highs, which you've already pretty much hit those highs there at 410. So that's going to be a pretty good level of resistance here on HCDI. It's going to be right up towards around that 410 to 414 level. Now, if HCDI can indeed break over that pre-market high and go on a nice little move to the upside, we could see this bad boy up towards around, this is not the easiest daily chart to dissect, but I would say maybe up towards around like that 450 level, and then 5. You know, keep it pretty simple there, guys. Right around 450 and then $5. So right now 371, light support. If you crack below 371, you have better support down at 339. Right now, top resistance between 410 and 414 with potential to 450 and then $5 here on HCDI. Right now at this point in time, it's safe to say HCDI should be a top stock that we watch right out of the gate. So again, SNOA is definitely a top stock to be watching out of the gate. HCDI, a top stock to be watching out of the gates. FTRP is a back burner at this point in time. So is SESN. SESN is a back burner at this point in time. I do want to watch CAR today, Avis Budget Group. All right, so CAR posted really nice earnings. We see the stock go from 280, currently trading at 305. And this stock went on a massive run last year in November, from around what? This thing went from like 173 all the way to 545 in a single day, and this thing was absolutely on fire. There was so much money to be made on that stock. I'm not saying it's going to make that kind of move again today, but this stock, when it moves, it absolutely moves. And we are gapping up today from 280 to 305. I absolutely want to be watching CAR up towards around $3 and $325. You do have a good amount of resistance right there around 325 resistance. So if we ever see CAR get a break over that 325, we do have some great potential up towards around 356 and then $400 if this stock really gets some attention and some volume today. So right now, CAR is a back burner stock at this point in time, but it is a stock that I want to keep on watch just to see if we do indeed get that volume, get that action, get that break over 325. We have some great potential up towards around that 356 and then maybe even $400. Now, I'm wishful thinking right now. I highly doubt this stock is going to move 100 points today, but it is something that we should keep on watch just in case it gets that attention, it gets that action, and it gets that hype, guys. So CAR posting good earnings, currently gapping up about 25 points here in pre-market. Definitely a stock we should be keeping on watch. Now, we're going to talk about our back burner stocks, guys, right? We're going to start with ATER, and ATER is looking pretty pretty good. I really do like ATER here on the daily chart. ATER has a solid moving average squeeze formation on the daily chart. This stock is squeezing between its 20 EMA and its 200 SMA, getting tighter and tighter and tighter, looking like it's ready for a break and ready for a rip and run. So I would be looking to go long on ATER over $5.77. I'd look to take this long to $6.54, and then $7 today here on ATER. Current support being $5. All right, so that's your level of support right now on ATER is $5. We do not want to see it back down at 5. We'd like to see this open up, hold strong, get that squeeze formation, that break over the 200 SMA, right around 577. That's where I'm looking to possibly go long, up towards around $6.54, and then $7 here on ATER, as we are forming a really, really nice, super simple moving average squeeze formation. And this stock also was a prior mover. I mean, this stock back in early April went from around 250 all the way up to 724 in about 2.5–3 weeks. So we know that ATER can rip and run when it has the attention, when it has the volume. And we have a great daily technical formation with ATER as well, as to why we should absolutely be watching this as one of our top stocks, in my opinion, out of the gate. Over that 577, I absolutely want to think about getting long to $6.54, and then $7. Right now, the best of the best support on ATER would be back down at $5, right? So ATER, definitely a top stock to be watching today. BKKT, dyslexia, BTTK. Jesus, I can't even, okay, hold on. Let me start over real quick. Good morning, traders. BTTX. This was a nice stock yesterday in pre-market. It did absolutely nothing yesterday until the end of the day. Ran from around 125 all the way up to $2, hitting 225 there in after hours, and 225 was our key level of resistance. Right around that 50 SMA, right underneath these daily lows. So this stock had a nice little end-of-day pop. Did do decent in post-market. Here in pre-market, doing nothing. But I do like the pullback here on BTTX. So we had this nice big rip and run over yesterday's pre-market highs of 162 to 165. Big time rip into the 225s, and right now we are simply pulling back to retest prior resistance as new support. So what I would say, as long as BTTX holds above yesterday's pre-market high, this thing has so much potential back up to those post-market highs of 225. And that's a big move. That's about a 50-cent move right now at this point in time. As long as we stay and as long as we trade above that 160 to 165 level here on BTTX. I do like this stock. I think it has a lot of great potential today. One other thing you can do as well is take a Fibonacci retracement off this low, run it up to the high, and you can see we're coming down into some of these fib levels as well, right around that 61.8 retracement. I don't use fibs too much when it comes to penny stocks, but you can clearly see that's about a 50% retracement from this low to this high. So not only is it a fib retracement level, it's also retracing, pulling back, retesting that pre-market high resistance as new support. So what I see is very low risk with really nice reward on BTTX. Definitely a top stock I want to be watching out of the gate to see if there's any more juice left in this stock for a nice little rip and run today. Now, if we ever break over that post-market high of 225, we could see this up towards around 250 and then 259 on BTTX. I definitely think this stock has some potential for the day. It is definitely a stock I'm going to be watching right out of the gate. The thumbnail is the best on this stream. Excellent. I like the thumbnail. I'm glad you guys like the thumbnail. SOUN. What's going on with SOUN? So SOUN is a new IPO stock getting some action over the past few days. Obviously, we can see the stock likes to rip and run pretty decent in pre-market, and then what? Dump on off. We're actually not seeing that dump on off, but yesterday it ran all the way to 19, and then it just did absolutely nothing yesterday. Getting some action in post-market, popping on up in pre-market. I would play it really safe. I would be really cautious with this stock. It's a new IPO stock. There's no news. it's very volatile. It moves big. It also drops big as well. So be very, very smart if you're looking to trade SOUN. Just because we could see a $2, $3 rip to the upside, we could see a $2 to $3 dump to the downside. And we have not seen a green day yet. We gapped up yesterday. We cracked on down to 8. We closed up towards around 1095. We've seen nothing but red days on the stock. And it likes to dump on off and give those gains back. So be very, very smart. Play this safe. I think there's better opportunity out there, but I know a lot of you guys are watching SOUN because we could see some potential, right? If all else fails, if nothing happens with SNOA, if nothing happens with ATER, BTTX, Redbox, we may see traders migrate back over to this newer IPO stock, as that's what traders tend to do lately, is they like to migrate back over to these newer IPO stocks, and sometimes those are our top gainers of the day. So we will be watching SOUN. But I want to advise, be safe, be cautious. The last thing I want you guys doing is getting in and being aggressive and then just watching this dump on off, kind of like it did yesterday. So we are going to be watching SOUN. We do have some light support right around this $15 level. Better support down at $12.36. Resistance right now, right at $17, and then $19 and $20 resistance here on SOUN. I still think there's better opportunity right out of the gates. I would say SOUN is going to be a back burner stock at this point in time. I think BTTX has much better opportunity. I think ATER has a lot more potential as well. So again, what is our job in the mornings? Obviously dissecting these stocks. Why are they moving? Do they have potential? What can we expect? But then we take it the next step further. We try and eliminate the noise. Some of these stocks can be considered noisy. Let's add those to the back burner. A lot of these stocks have great potential. They look fantastic, such as ATER. That's a stock that we want to keep on high watch right out of the gate, one of our top 3 to 5 stocks. A lot of these other stocks that may have potential that seem to be a little noisy, let's dissect them, let's get prepared, understand what we could see. But I would say at this point in time, a lot of these stocks that are going to the back burner, they just don't really show the best potential compared to some of these other stocks. So SOUN would be a back burner stock at this point in time. We will be watching RDBX. All right, so RDBX, what's going on? Is Ape Nation back in control of the meme stocks? I mean, that's what this is. It's a Reddit stock. It's a freaking Wall Street bet stock. Everybody's talking about it. Next short squeeze. There's a lot of hype. There's a lot of interest with RDBX. And I mean, this stock has gone on a freaking tear just over the last 3 days from around what? $3.47. Hitting highs yesterday of $11. This thing has been on a freaking tear. And regardless of the apes being in control, back in control of the meme stocks, regardless of the hype, regardless of whatever's going on here, short squeeze interest, we do have some potential here. It's been on a massive move, been going on a massive run for the past 3 days. There's still a lot of activity, there's a lot of attention, and then there's a lot of hype. So we absolutely should still keep RDBX on high watch. All right, so we do have support right here at the 200 SMA at 762. So if we start cracking below $7.62, I would think we would come back down to yesterday's lows of 642 before finding another level of support. So right now, if this stock is going to be a big mover today, and we are going to see another big green day to the upside, I would think we really need to sit above and trade above that 200-day moving average of 762. And again, if we start cracking below that 200-day moving average at 762, the next best level of support on this stock would be back down at $6.42. Now, if we hold above that 200 SMA and we really start getting some action again, and this is the top stock that we should be watching, we have room back up to these pre-market highs of $8.39. We would have some room back up towards around that $10 level, and then $11 here on RDBX. So again, definitely, in my opinion, a top stock to be watching today above that 762 level, back up to $8.39, $10, and then $11. Right now, no reason to get involved. I would say a break and a retest, a break and hold above that 839 builds my confidence up to possibly think about getting long up to 10 and up to 11. So RDBX, definitely a top stock to be watching today. FRGE, this was a top stock to watch yesterday, was FRGE for that break over $20. The thing broke 20, blasted through every single one of our targets, through 25, through 27, hitting highs of $28.67. Now, this stock had a massive break and a massive move yesterday. I'd be curious to see if there's any juice left with FRGE. So what I would like to see is a break over $29.50 and then $30. Why $29.50? Why $30? Well, $29.50 because that is where we gapped down. That was the level where we actually closed before that gap down. So we could fill this little teeny daily gap here at, it's actually $29.67. So that's going to be a pretty good level of resistance right there at $29.67 on FRGE, and then $30 psychological resistance. So we start breaking over that $29.67. We start breaking over $30. Where could we see the stock go? $31.56, $33.83, $34.61, and then up towards around that high at $36.40. So if there's still some hype today with FRGE, some action, some volume, and this stock is going to have another decent little day, we could see it up towards around that $31.50, $33.83, $34.61, and then $34.60. But first things first, we need to be breaking and trading above that $29.67 to $30 level before I think I would want to get involved with FRGE. Right now, we do have some support right back down towards around this 2364 level. So keep this on watch above 2364. If we do indeed bounce, we do indeed set up and hold above 2364, maybe we can get involved with this back up towards around yesterday's highs and then start to possibly fill this daily gap. And if it's really strong and we start breaking that 30, we know there's a lot more potential to the upside. So at this point in time, the fact that there's little to no volume in pre-market, it is a back burner stock because it could do nothing today. It could gap down like it is. It could set up for a mid-candle breakout, and it could be on watch for tomorrow, possibly, right? So again, it's a back burner at this point in time. It may not do anything, but if it does do something, we're prepared, ready to go. Now, if it doesn't do anything, I still think you should keep it on watch because it could be setting up for a possible mid-candle breakouts. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and break these down one more time just so you guys are fully up to speed on what we have. FRGE, back burner stock at this point in time, but it shows potential. If it starts moving, we'll bring our attention back to it. We'll get you guys prepared. We'll see if we can lock in some profits here. RDBX, I think, is a top stock to watch today. It's all momentum. Above that 200 SMA, it looks good. Back up to 839, 10, and then $11. Current support, 762. Definitely a top stock to be watching out of the gate. SOUN, some would say it's a good candidate to be a top stock. I honestly think this is a stock that's probably going to give a lot of these gains back. That's just my opinion. That's kind of what my gut's telling me, is stay away from SOUN. I think there's better opportunity out there, much more simple opportunity to lock in better profits. So SOUN, I'm going to say this is a back burner stock at this point in time, but we know exactly what to expect. $15 light support. Below 15 bucks, we could fall all the way back down to 12.36. However, if we break 17, we could see a nice big move up to 19 and then $20 on SOUN, but play this safe. Okay, play it safe. There's just something about this that I believe we're going to see this dump on down towards around that 12.36, but we shall see. At this point in time, it is a back burner stock. BTTX above 162. We have potential back to 225. Definitely a top stock to be watching out of the gate. ATER with that beautiful, simple, just awesome daily moving average squeeze formation. ATER over 577. I want to get long to 654, and then that 721 level to possibly retest that high a day from April 19th. ATER, definitely a top stock to be watching right out of the gate. SNOA, we have some good news today, getting EPA approval. #1 stock on the leaderboard, SNOA, trading great volume, nice low float stock. It's actually holding its gains, it's consolidating. There is some great potential today with SNOA. Current support back down at 374. You have $4 resistance, 411, 424, and then 440. If we ever see the stock really take on off and it's starting to break that 440, we know we have potential to 471, 473, which is our 200-day moving average, and then possibly up towards around $5. Definitely a top stock to be watching today. Last top stock to watch, HCDI. Fresh news, fresh volume today. It's also a prior day consistent mover. I mean, this stock's gone from 240 to 340 literally in the past 3 days, hitting highs in pre-market of 414. Light support, 371. If we ever break that 414 level, we have potential to 450 and then $5 there on HCDI. So we are all set, ready to rock and ready to roll. Top stocks again, HCDI to watch out of the gate, ATER, BTTX, RDBX, and SNOA. SESN, back burner. FTRP, CAR, SOUN, FRGE, and NKTX are all back burner stocks at this point in time. All right, guys, so the one stock that I'm really watching today is going to be ATER off to the side. If that starts moving on up, that's going to be the one stock that I'm really looking for to get involved with, as I see a lot of great potential today with ATER. Obviously, we're always looking at the SPY. We're always going to be watching the Qs. So let's give penny stocks about 10 to 15 minutes. Let's see if we have any quick opportunity right out of the gate to lock in some quick profits. 10 to 15 minutes in, we'll shift our attention to the SPY, to the Qs. We'll talk about what we have in store for today. We'll also talk about BABA. I think BABA has some potential coming on up. And we'll also talk about Netflix as well. So I was watching BABA today for an options play, and I was watching Netflix today for a possible options play as well. So about 10 to 15 minutes in, we'll shift our attention over to these larger cap stocks. We'll be talking about the SPY, the Qs, BABA, Netflix, and AMD. But right now, at the start of the day, we have some action with penny stocks. This is where our focus should be at this point in time. And I do like BTTX as well, because BTTX is pulling back and retesting yesterday's pre-market high after that massive run-up in Power Hour yesterday. So as long as this stock is holding above that 160 to 165 level, I'm really interested in getting long on BTTX, because I see 50 cents plus to the upside, and I see maybe like 10 cents of risk at most, right? 10 to 15 cents of risk at most. So I see the risk reward. I like it, but I need a little bit more to base a trade off of. But I'm absolutely watching BTTX right out of the gate. So let's make it happen. Big deal saying good morning. We flat out need a winner of the day. Let's get us our winner for the day, team. Let's make it happen. And again, it's all about keeping your composure, being calm, cool, collected, waiting for the best trade to come to you, not forcing the trade, not pulling the trigger prematurely, not hesitating, not taking unnecessary losses, but keeping it simple, be calm, cool, collected, keep your composure, and wait for the best setup to come to you. Yesterday, one trade on the day, almost 600 bucks. My first trade was at 10.05, and that was my only trade of the day because I let that trade come to me. I wasn't forcing my trades, and that's what we're going to do again today. We're going to sit back and wait to see what stocks have the best potential. What stocks should we be getting involved with? And what stocks have the best potential for awesome profits. So right now, guys, it's a game of patience. Sit back, relax, and let's see what we have in store. And right now, it could be ATER, team. It could be ATER, and this is a great looking stock over that 571 to 577 level. I mean, I'm kind of tempted to start a position here with ATER, but I mean, it's already popped up about 30 cents here, and I don't like chasing stocks as they're popping into resistance, but I see so much great potential with ATER, guys. So right now, this stock is on high watch for this possible squeeze formation. Now, it could get rejected, come back down, and continue to consolidate and continue the squeeze. But if we start to see this breaking that 577, it could really start taking on off.
But Paramount taking a hit here as well, despite what appeared to be, as I said, reasonably good numbers.
Yeah, dude, I went over to Paramount. I said, in the vacuum of Battle Kid, I said, hey, you know, okay, so maybe.
Stir, you typically say you want the delta to be at least double the theta for swing trading options. So yes, for swing trading options, for day trading, I don't care. I'm going to day trade 5, 10, 20 minutes. The theta is not going to have that much of an impact. But for swing trades, yeah, that's my rule of thumb, is I want that delta to be at least 2 times greater than the theta. And that applies to both calls and puts when I'm looking to swing trade an option.
We could ask for his and say, listen, that's all I'm doing, but it's our job to find what's. I don't want my job to find this. And I thought Paramount would do better, but I also knew it was too close.
So right now, team, I'm personally watching ATER.
It's
interesting. There's kind of a split in travel today.
So I'm personally just going to sit here and check out, watch ATER, and see if we have anything coming on up over that 577. This thing could really take on off to 650 and then 726. So this is my top stock to be watching right now at this point in time. And if I get an entry, I'll definitely call it out, let you guys know exactly my position sizing, my stop loss, my targets, all that good stuff. But right now, I'm still tradeless on the day. And another stock that I really like as well is BTTX. And I think BTTX has some great potential as well, guys. So if I were to get long on BTTX, I'd put stops below 160. I could risk 10 cents here, and I can make about 50 cents to the upside. So if I want to risk $200 on this trade, I could take 2,000 shares. So I would risk $200 on BTTX, and I would probably hold this through the duration of the day. This would be something I buy very, very low, and I would expect to see it trend and grind higher for duration of the day. So right now, I do like the idea of getting long on BTTX. I will put my stops at 160, and right now I'm just going to test the waters here. All right, so that's all I'm doing is I'm testing the waters. I'm not going full position because, again, it could come down and stop me out. So right now my risk is about $120 on this trade. I took 1,200 shares, and if it does indeed really start moving in the direction that I think it's going to move, and I think it's going to make that move up into the 220s, I could always add to my position as well. So I'm personally putting myself in a getting my feet wet position, right? I'm taking a very small position size right now on BTTX. My stop loss is about 10 cents to the downside. If it works against me, I lose $100. If it works with me, I have potential to see this back up to 220 and 225. And the reason I really like this is we had that big rip and run in power hour. We pulled back post-market pre-market into yesterday's pre-market highs, and we came down and put in this really ugly, but it is trying to put in this slight double bottom. There's just something about this that I like, and I think this stock could have a decent little green day. So I'm going to risk $100 to see if this stock does indeed get some action back up to yesterday's highs around 2, and then those post-market highs around 225. I told you guys, there's something about SOUN that I don't like. I have a feeling that this thing is going to crack and dump, and right now, halt it to the downside. Again, there's something about it that I didn't like, and I'm glad I never even was looking at SOUN, because right now, this thing looks disgusting. Looks disgusting. So right now, we are on the right stocks. ATER, BTTX. I think these stocks have great potential. Look at BTTX. It's already getting some action to the upside. RDBX, nothing. SNOA, nothing. SESN is trucking along here. Still think there's better opportunity. Nothing with CAR. SOUN halts to the downside. FRGE trying to hold above 2364. NKTX, I'm still short biased on this stock. I'm still short biased on this. But I think the next best opportunity coming on up, I think it's going to be ATER. So I have a long position on BTTX. stops at 160.
Let's talk a bit more about it.
And I think ATER has some really good potential, guys. So I want to shift my focus over to ATER and see if this stock can indeed set up and give us something to get long if it is going to make that move today. If not, there's no reason to touch it, but we will still keep it on watch to see if it continues to consolidate, continues to form this squeeze pattern. At some point, we could see the squeeze and really see this thing take on off.
Also, by the way, so they offer incremental equity.
Yeah, Chris, SOUN, what a nice little, quick little pop on up, trapping in retail traders, trying to get long for the break, followed by a super nasty rug pull. And this is what I was worried about. I don't want you guys jumping into these trades. There's just something about this that led me to believe this thing's going to dump on off. I see potential for this to fall back down to 1236. So still be very, very smart, be very, very cautious with SOUN. And BTTX is the stock that's really getting some action right now, guys. So my position's at 171. You got a big buyer at 179, 26,000 shares. 180 is pretty tough resistance. We'll see the thing pull back. But as long as it doesn't crack below that 162, 163 level, there's still some decent potential here with BTTX. And again, this is a trade that I came into with, I'm going to scale in, scale out, get my feet wet, small position size. If I get stopped out, it's very minimal. If it is going to be an all-day grinder, an all-day mover, at least I know we have potential into the 220s. So I'm A-okay with holding this thing for a good majority of the day. And right now, there's definitely not a lot popping on off, guys. SNOA opened, dumping on off. SESN open, starting to get some decent action to the upside. But you have a lot of resistance at 56 and 58 cents. I'm not too crazy about this because you're right at resistance. You're kind of rolling over here. Definitely looking like it's due for a pullback. FTRP, nothing. CAR, nothing. SOUN still halted to the downside. Other than that, guys, penny stocks have been challenging lately. There's not a lot of opportunity, but when you see the opportunity, you have to be ready to get involved because that opportunity doesn't last that long. You see one good opportunity and then literally nothing else for the rest of the day, and that's what we've been seeing the last couple of weeks. So right now, the only position that I have, and it's a very, very small position, is BTTX. I'm risking that 10 cents to see if I can get 50 cents throughout the day. But other than that, all of these other stocks, nothing really worth getting involved with at this point in time. So let's shift our attention over to the SPY. So SPY's low a day yesterday, 405.31. The high from yesterday was 415. So that high is going to be a level of resistance, and then possibly 417 to test those post-market highs. So right now, your resistance here on the S&P is going to be 415.89, yesterday's spiking high, which also lines up with some lows from last week, and then possibly up towards around that 417 here on the SPY to possibly test those post-market highs from last night. Now, if the SPY starts cracking below today's low of 413.75-ish, I would say your next target to the downside, pre-market lows of 412.14. I'm sorry, 412.41. Down towards around 411.55. And then right around that 410 area there on the SPY. And on BABA, guys, BABA, if this stock starts breaking 103.50, I will take this long to 108.40. So BABA over 103.52, I will look to take this stock long to 108.40. And we do have a slight moving average squeeze formation here on BABA. So what I'm looking for is this stock to start breaking above its 50 SMA, break above last Friday's spiking high, that's where I think a lot of volume could start moving in, pushing the stock up towards around that 108 level there on BABA. OST halted up. So OST halted on circuit breaker. New IPO stock. Big green day, dumped on down, doing absolutely nothing. Now it's starting to get a little bit of hype, a little bit of activity towards it. So right now we can see a lot of these top gaining stocks not really doing too much. A lot of these stocks are struggling to get any kind of action, any kind of movement. So traders are just moving back on over to some of these newer IPO stocks. So the real big move on OST, I believe, would come if we start breaking above 460. So breaking above 460 is where I think a lot of big time volume could really start stepping on in, pushing the stock up to 5. And then honestly guys, all the way up towards around $10. So if we break 5 today, I don't see any reason why we couldn't grind on up towards around 10. But the first level that we really need to get through is going to be that 460 and then 5. Over 460 and 5, there's a lot of potential up towards around 10. So watching OST, HCDI pulling back below that 339 level. Right now we have room back down to 320. So there's nothing worth getting involved with there. ATER looks like it's another rejection day. So I would still keep this on watch in the coming weeks. If ATER continues to consolidate in between that 200 SMA and that 20 EMA, it could still be setting up for that moving average squeeze formation. So right now, ATER definitely not looking like it wants to get it today. However, we should still keep the stock on watch for the rest of this week, coming into next week as well. RDBX has room to fall back down to 642. SNOA, we are back above that 374 level now, guys. So SNOA is back above that 374 level of support. So if we can hold this higher low above 374 support, you know you have resistance at 411, 424, and then 440. Getting that strong break over 440 is where this thing could really start taking on off to 470 and then 5. So right now SNOA is going to be the stock we're watching at this point in time. Because at this point in time, there's nothing else that really stands out to me to get involved with. So let's just shift our attention here and let's focus on SNOA. So SNOA above 374, we could see a nice little pop back up to 411, guys. So nice little break back above 374, nice healthy pullback, nice little retest. I'd be looking for this higher low, follow through, back up to 411 here on SNOA. Right now, this is the top stock to be watching at this point in time, above 374 support. And I like that increased volume break. I like the healthy decreased volume pullback right into that 374 level of support. This thing could absolutely pop right back up to 411. So let's see if we're going to hold this 374, 375 level, guys. And if we do, and we start bouncing here, I would look for a long position for the bounce, for that higher low rebound, back up to 411 resistance. And stops would be like really, really tight. Stops would be right below 370. But I want to start to see that transition from selling to buying off this 374 level of support before I pull the trigger here. But I do like the setup. I do like the potential. And I think there could be some opportunity as long as we do not crack below and start fading and falling. If we can start bouncing here and start seeing those bids back up towards around 380, that's when that thing could pop on off back up to 410. But right now, no position on SNOA as we're starting to drop back below that 374. So no trade on SNOA at this point in time. Support now is going to be that double bottom low at 359. Let me shut that fan off because I mean my mic's picking all that up. There we go. We're all set. So I'm still watching SNOA as my top stock. We do have that level of support that we came down to. Quick little double bottom at 359, and we know we still have potential back up to 411 here. Hey, look at that spaz. Just like that, up $710. Dude, that's what I'm talking about. OST is live, ladies and gentlemen. OST is live. We have room to 460. Support right now, prior resistance, support 387 on OST. Support 387 on OST. Got a slight little flag formation here above that 9 EMA with 380-ish support. This thing starts popping here off this 9 EMA and the buyers get back above $4. We could see this thing break that 420 straight up to 460, may even get halted again to the upside. So OST right now is on high watch. Nice little break over that intraday resistance of 389, consolidating, retesting 389, consolidating, trying to hold above that 9 EMA. If this thing starts breaking back above 4, this thing could really start ripping and running to 420, 450, and then 460. So top stocks right now, SNOA above 359 support, back up to 411. And then OST here above 389, back above 4. That's where I would expect to see a lot of volume stepping on back in, pushing this back up to high a day, 450, and then 460. So OST is the #1 stock that I'm watching right now at this point in time for the break. The retest, that nice consolidation above that 9 EMA, looking for a little bit of a momentum play back over 4 for that possible next leg on up. And if you threw a downtrend there, you would see a little bit of a downtrend here as well on OST. So you can go ahead and connect those highs on up and see that you got a little bit of this downtrend here as well. So I'd like to see some buying pressure come in right now off of this 389 level. And I'd really like to see buyers fight to keep it above at least that VWAP. But I think the stock has some good potential. Already halted once, consolidating really nice above prior resistance, new support. We start to see that break of the downtrend with some volume moving in, back above $4. This thing has great potential back up to 420. You could scalp it for about 20 cents, but I would think we would break that 420 high and start making a move up to 450 and 460. So let's see if this thing can hold on up at this point in time. And I may be looking to get long here, just so you guys know. If we start bouncing here and we see that volume move on in and we see a decent little bounce and we see these buyers stepping on in, looking to break back above 4, I'm absolutely looking to jump in long here for that break and that next leg up. You got about 20K sitting at 393. Got 20K sitting at 394 on the ask. All right, I'm long on this, looking for a break over 4. Stops are really, really tight. If we don't start breaking 4 and following through, there's no sense on holding this because it could dump on off. You got to be very careful with these penny stocks lately. But I am long 395, looking for the bounce, looking for the break over 4 and that follow through. Back up to 420, and then I think we could see like 450, 460. Stops are really tight, 5 to 10 cent risk. If it doesn't break and start ripping, there's no reason to hold this. If it struggles, the odds of it dumping are very high if it struggles here. So make sure you're playing it really smart, really safe. If it doesn't break and start taking on off, you do not want to hold this for that dump, because penny stocks have been dumping lately. There's a lot of false setups. There's a lot of false moves. The stock struggles a little bit, then it starts dumping on off. The last thing you want to do is be in, it not work out, it struggled, then it dumps. So I've been out. I was already out at 390. I cut it. Because that's what you see. That's what you see. It was a good trade. It could have broken 4 to 420, 450, 460. But I said if it struggles and it doesn't break immediately and it doesn't follow through, it's going to dump. So you're trading about 5 to 10 cents of risk. I was in at 396, out at 391. So I literally lost 5 cents a share to give that a chance to get that break in that rip and run. So again, playing it smart, playing it safe. We know what market conditions are. These are market conditions, and we know how to trade with the market conditions. You see a good setup, take it. If it struggles and doesn't work out, get out of it, because the odds of it dumping are really high. So OST, it was worth it. I liked the break. I liked the bounce. It tried to get that action. It could have easily ripped 50, 60 cents, but it struggled. It stalled a little bit, wasn't following through. I was out before the crack. So I lost 123.38 on OST. I lost $100 to give that a go. That was worth it.
Yes, it's true.
Yeah, ATER is trying to bounce on up, but we're still in this slight downtrend. Right? We have a nice little low, put in a high, lower low. Still could be a lower high here. So I still don't trust it yet until it's breaking over that 577 on ATER. Still don't trust it until it's breaking over that 577 level.
Let's get to different stock trading.
And everything's pretty flat right now. Not a whole lot going on. Not a whole lot going on. SPY's pretty much sitting sideways. A little bit of a downtrend here on the SPY with 413.70 supports. The Qs, same thing. Throw a little downtrend on here. Nothing yet. Pretty much flat. Netflix kind of chopping around. BABA still chopping around. If you guys were grabbing those lotto calls ahead of AMD earnings yesterday, you guys are freaking rocking it right now. You guys are buying those calls at 85. You guys are up 5 points on AMD ahead of earnings, so congratulations. If you guys were buying those calls for those lottos, you guys are up right now, even before earnings. So you guys could be locking in some profits now. And that was a nice little lotto trade there. I noticed that, yeah, the mic is picking a lot of stuff up today, for sure. Let me go ahead and, I have a noise gate on. Here, let's do this. This will probably help out a lot.
That's a fascinating office policy. Basically, it works for me.
Yeah, that is very odd. It's picking up everything today. That is weird. I even have my filters on.
Good reminder, Chris. Glad we had you here today. Bad money. 6 p.m. Eastern Time. When we return, it's going to be for the parent of Burger King, Tim Hortons, and Popeyes.
That's so weird. It never does that. It never does that. That's odd. Here, let me try something real quick. Let's go here. Oh, that's why you're connected to my wrong microphone.
How's that, guys? That's probably a lot better. Yeah, my bad, guys. Yeah, you were connected to my webcam for some reason. So now we should be set. It should be nice, clear, deep, professional sounding. Yeah, that was pretty bad. Yeah, I saw thing was jumping. I was like, what's going on right now? But no, I was connected to my webcam mic, so I switched that around, so we should be good now. Much better? Fantastic. Yeah, so that's a $200 built-in mic to the webcam, and I got the big boy up here, so... So right now, across the board, looking at penny stocks, looking at large cap stocks, not really too much. Now, RDBX, the one thing that I'm starting to see here with RDBX is a slight inverse head and shoulders formation. So what is an inverse head and shoulders formation? Well, it's a head and shoulders, but it's upside down. So you have a left shoulder, left. You have a head, and you have the formation of a right shoulder. So if we see this right shoulder form off of the left shoulder low, we could see a nice little break of this downtrend, and that could get this thing going back up to 839. So the only thing that I see right now coming on up for a possible trade is going to be RDBX above $7.15. If we form this right shoulder no lower 715, we break this VWAP and break this neckline, we have potential to the open 783, obviously $8 psychological resistance, and then 839 here on RDBX. So RDBX is on high watch right now. RDBX is on very high watch at this point in time for the inverse head and shoulders formation, guys. Other than that, the SPY, the Qs, pretty much flat. Netflix, BABA, some of these other stocks we were looking at, not doing too much at this point in time. And that's really across the board. Penny stocks, large caps, not tons of hype, not tons of action. If you guys see anything, please let me know. I'd be more than happy to look at any stocks. Energy sector, everything's in the green. Utilities, almost everything is in the green. Materials, financials. The market looks good today. Healthcare, overall. So right now, RDBX should be on high watch, guys, for the possible inverse head and shoulders above 715, breaking that VWAP, breaking that downtrend, which is our neckline. That's going to bring in a lot of volume, and that's when we could really start to see this thing take on off here, guys. Over that 751 is where a lot of volume could really, really start moving on in here to RDBX. Here we go, guys. All eyes on RDBX at this point in time. All eyes on RDBX. If this is going to start breaking, this is the point in time that it could start breaking on out through that VWAP, through that neckline, off of the inverse head and shoulders formation. And an inverse head and shoulders is a reversal formation. They are intended to break and start ripping to the upside. RDBX is a hot stock, has a lot of hype, has a lot of attention. So again, if this stock starts moving, a lot of traders are going to go from SOUN, OST, and they're going to migrate back over to RDBX because this is the stock that's been moving big the past few days here. Right now, just waiting to see if we're going to get that setup here above that 715 area. As long as this holds above that 715 level, we could still see that nice little inverse head and shoulders formation setting on up. Again, ATER really needs to get over that 570, 577 before I get interested. It's at 560 right now. So ATER is creeping its way on up, but I'm not really crazy about it until we start breaking that 570 to 577. Right now, we have a setup. We have a formation. There is a strategy right in front of us with RDBX. If we're looking for this inverse head and shoulders formation, we know stops would be at like 710. We're looking for that break of the neckline and the break of that VWAP. We could see this up at 780, 8, then 830. And we know stops are going to be right underneath this left shoulder. So stops would be right around $7.10. So this is the number one stock that I'm currently watching at this point in time is RDBX off this potential inverse head and shoulders formation. Low risk, pretty good reward. We know we have room into the 780s. What's that? It's about, what, 60 cents? 50 cents? What's our stop loss on the trade? 10 cents? 15 cents at most? Good risk reward. Nice formation. Nice pattern. Nice setup. It's a top gating stock. Well, it was. The stock has a lot of great potential. It's already ripped from around, what, $2 to $11 in the matter of like 2.5 weeks. The second this stock starts breaking out, if it starts breaking out, is when a lot of traders are going to come back to RDBX, and this could definitely turn in to the top stock of the day. So right now it's on high watch above the 715 level, guys. Where's ATER at? 556. So we still got some time there on ATER. Already got some profits in. Profits, chat. George stepping up with 250 on SNOA. Kevin locking in 869 on the day. My goodness, you guys are coming in early. Y'all are making it happen, locking in some profits. I'm still looking for the best of the best of the best of the best trade. The best of the best of the best of the best. Right now, it's a little chat fest out there in the penny land, guys. A little bit of a chat fest this morning. Nothing really just stealing the attention, really stealing the volume, and really getting some action. I mean, SOUN is trying, but there's just something about this stock that I'm not all that crazy about. FRGE, not a thing. NKTX, nothing. ATER, we still have plenty of time. So I would say let's see if RDBX is going to possibly give us that setup that we're looking for. So right now, the Qs, you have room to 321.65. 321.65 there on the Qs. And the SPY, you're sitting right at that 416-ish level of resistance. You have room to 417. RDBX, never set up, starting to roll on over. BTTX, nothing there. HCDI, nothing there. OST, nothing there. You know, SNOA is really fighting to stay above that 360, but it's really not a lot to go off of. Maybe a little bit of this downtrend here. So maybe a little break of this downtrend off of 360. It's not the best setup, but SNOA is a stock that has a lot of potential today, guys. Yeah, pre-market's the way to make some money in the market right now, for sure, Kevin. 100%. Now, if you're in pre-market and you're catching these moves, you're doing well, because these stocks are doing relatively okay. They're in pre-market, but out of the gate the last couple of weeks, it's been a challenge. It's been a struggle